Why Factories Shut Down is a documentary that speaks to some changes that are occurring in our landscape. Whether you choose to care or not, you will be impacted by the new evolving globalized world. If there were one reason why factories shut down, it would of course be money. If there were 1,000 reasons, it would be mass confusion. To gain an understanding, we have researched and selected 10 random reasons to establish trends. Can we prevent shutdown? Let's examine our top 10 causes. Product obsolescence. An example of this might be a product change from mechanical to digital. Future projected income. Declining sales projections make it difficult to keep investors interested. Mismanagement. Bad decisions can be a death sentence to any factory. Economic conditions. Global forces can cause the economy to shift, which can then be detrimental. The hostile takeover. Corporations can absorb and close your factory without your consent. Competitive advantage. A competitor has a secret to success. The bite maneuver. A global strategy that can unplug your factory tomorrow. New technology. Innovations can increase production, but can be costly to adapt. Government regulations. How much control does the government have over factories? The resource choke. Restricting your resources to challenge your production can close your doors.
The heartbeat of American manufacturing was at stake, and so were more than 1 million jobs. Today, the American auto industry is coming back, and GM is #1 in the world again, and Ford is investing billions in American plants and factories.
Let's interview the former chief economist for Ontario, Dr. Peter Warrian.
Manufacturing has always been a vibrant industry. New technologies, new products, but something happened around 15 or 20 years that was uniquely different, that put 3 things together. 1, we signed a free trade agreements. Secondly, the rise of China and other low-wage manufacturing places. And 3, in Canada, this huge rise in the Canadian dollar. And that created the perfect storm. Canada's problem is, okay, 6 million went out, 5 million are coming back. Now the economy is also growing. How many of those will be in Canada? So we're coming back in with higher value-added products, produced in relatively so smaller, it's not just the one big factory, smaller places, but they are production factories. So in the auto industry, you get those assembly things, but they're just doing assembly. All the stuff is in the supply chain. But there's no doubt that Obama and the Americans are onto this future of manufacturing. They get multi-billion-dollar programs that go from everything from technical materials research to videos for the high schools and everything in between, because as made in America is important to them.
And manufacturing is adding jobs for the first time since the 1990s. I want us to make stuff here and sell it over there. I don't want stuff made over there and selling it over here. We're going to make sure the next generation of life-changing products are invented and manufactured here in the United States of America.
The biggest single manufacturing company in the world is the automotive industry. Okay, it's something like $7 trillion.
was to stand by manufacturing, to stand by the American auto industry when it was on the brink of collapse.
So in Germany, you've got an apprenticeship system that everybody recognizes. From the CEOs to the government, to the churches, to the parents, to the shop floor, they understand the importance of that. We don't have that. We don't fund it, we don't respect it, we don't invest in it. I mean, socially invest in it, you know.
Part of the reason Germany has been able to take the lead in certain manufacturing areas is because they've invested in these hubs, and then they invest in the training of the workers for these very precise machines and tools, and that means that cuts into our market share when it comes to manufacturing around the world.
If you went to a German or a Japanese corporation, corporations are what they are, look at the board of directors. About 80% of a German or a Japanese corporation, but 80% are engineers and scientists and sometimes trade union, German trade union. Now go to a North American corporation and you'll find 80% of the board are bankers and lawyers. I think, yes, government research labs are important, the tax system is important, engineering training is important. However, the missing link, and ultimately to me, the most important link, is going to get played out in the high schools and the community colleges.
An opportunity agenda. And let me break it down into 4 parts. Number 1, more good jobs that pay good wages. Jobs in American manufacturing, rebuilding our infrastructure, innovation, energy. Number 2, training workers with the skills they need to fill those jobs.
Consume things, and manufacturing is important for that. So it supports the society, but also just at the international level, if you're going to have a balanced economy, you don't want to run huge trade deficits with the rest of the world. Factories in the Henry Ford's traditional one box, those are going away because manufacturing is still around, but it's in smaller places. That's why I said it's more of a hub, and there's smaller supply chains that are feeding those hubs. So you can have the same amount of production, but it's not going to go on of the single consolidated factory as it once did before. If you're going to have a future for our children and grandchildren, we have to have manufacturing as an important part of it. So the question is, do we have factories? Does manufacturing matter? Absolutely it does.
The point is, I don't want the next big job-creating discovery to come from Germany or China or Japan. I want it to be made here in America.
There are many reasons a factory may shut down. Some of them are deceptive. The sad fact is, there is no examination to declare the cause. If a recurring problem receives no diagnosis, we cannot repair it for the next generation. Our task should be to protect a legacy of success for our children and theirs. Do you ever wonder why a factory with a long, productive history suddenly disappears? Are you shocked when it shows up on the other side of the world? We define this as the bite maneuver. Take, for example, a factory having products with a long history of success, a strong contributor to our society that resists offers from foreign acquisition. Some want their company legacy to be left in North America with those that innovated and contributed over the many years of progression. This is not a deterrent for the global shark, but an opportunity for the bite maneuver. The shark proposes a merger of grand proportion to serve, protect, and expand to the outer regions of the globe with a domestic corporation. We will lunge forward together to conquer and deflect the onslaught of competitors coming this way. With a new corporation of might, we will acquire, invest, and expand your factory and leave you an enriched legacy. Your name, your people, your history, your factory will be safe and sound. The newspapers are sure with government grants for millions as bait. The trap is set. The market value for the factory is now at its highest. A price can be set. The prospects can be groomed. With newspapers and reports in hand, we can sell this acquired factory to the highest bidder in a developing nation. Developing nations pay well for this prize. As all the barriers have been removed, a deal is now struck. We create some sad news that the market is not fair. Then we package the machinery and float the factory away. Their history, brand, patents, and knowledge are gone. A factory has vanished. The shutdown is here, and the legacy is forgotten as though it was never here. The bite maneuver was played, and some people were crushed, but the severance is given, so the bitten must be silent. Now the politicians drench the embers of fact. Meanwhile, the ship arrives at the developing nation to a dance and a parade. They are now a world leader. Thank you, North America. We appreciate your job. Our grandchildren will be leaders and will love this factory forever. When our grandchildren ask us, how did that world-leading factory create? Don't tell them it was ours and it was maneuvered away. Why disappoint them with what we let be done? The bite maneuver is simple. Many thousands of factories are gone. The wealth has been transferred. Details have vanished, and so the cycle carries on.